Pakistan are very rich in energy sources. Tajikistan is also very rich in hydroelectricity, and Kyrgyzstan also. Now, evacuation is a problem. We have some experience in Kazakhstan where we took Satpayev block and left it after a few years, after losing $1.7 billion almost. Maybe it was a wrong decision. We also tried to bid for the equity of Total in Kashagan oil field, which is the largest oil field in Central Asia. OVL, ONGC Videsh Limited, offered $5 billion for 8.4% stake of Total. They signed an MOU with Total, but for some reason or the other, it was not given to India. Rather, instead, government of Kazakhstan used its right of first refusal and took over the equity and handed over to China after some time. In fact, after some time, it was realized that it was a blessing in disguise. Because the problem is that even if you produce crude in Kazakhstan or any other Central Asian country, what will you do with that? We do not have any system of evacuation. We don't own any pipeline which can be used for export to Europe or any other country. The only client will be China, because either you export it to China or export it to Europe via Chinese pipelines. Similarly, the much talked about Tapi project, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India gas project, has not taken off. We keep hearing various developments in this project, but on the ground, so far, not much has materialized. Partly it is because of the situation in Afghanistan over these years, and partly it is because of the bilateral relations between India and Pakistan. So either we wait for Afghanistan to stabilize, and or India and the bilateral relations between India and Pakistan to improve, or otherwise this project will linger on as it is. So the idea should be to go to downstream industries, fertilizers, polymers, and other products based on oil and gas can provide a very big opportunity to Indian companies. And some steps have been taken recently, but nothing has been realized on the ground as yet. Now, I will speak a few sentences about the attitude of Indian companies. Indian companies must realize that because all these countries have Istan in their name, they are not like Afghanistan. They are more like Europe. If you visit their capitals, if you meet people, if you see their villages, see their agriculture, see their technology, they are advanced countries. Fortunately, now tourism between India and Central Asia has gone up, and Indian businessmen have realized that these countries are as advanced as Europe was till a few years ago. In fact, some of their cities are really world class. So we should not treat these countries as classical developing countries, they are as good as developed countries. When it comes to international trade, they want the best and they want the most competitive. Well, I will keep commenting on my other colleagues' papers. I don't want to cut into their valuable time. I would only want to add that now big businesses are also looking at Central Asia. Recently, in last 6-7 years, I have seen many developments. When Mr. Shapur Mistry came to Kazakhstan in early 2014, the then president of Kazakhstan, His Excellency Nazarbayev himself hosted him. He met him personally and assured him all cooperation, and they did get some projects there. Not very big, but they completed a port project also in the Caspian Sea. Similarly, Mr. Gautam Adani visited Kazakhstan a few months ago, and it was a big news in Kazakhstan. And he met the president, and maybe there will be some big projects very soon in Central Asia, either in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, wherever. So with these words, I will invite the next speaker. The next speaker is Dr. Anita Sengupta, who is the Director of Asia and Global Affairs based in Kolkata. She focuses on Eurasia, exploring identity, migration, gender, borders, and
Regions are not contiguous and land connectivity is impaired by problematic relations with states in between. What such arguments fail to take into note is that connectivity needs to be imagined at multiple levels, and a significant part of India's connection would depend on how it deploys its soft power by offering cooperation and capacity building, knowledge transfer, and people to people contacts. There is an increasing acknowledgement of the fact that elements of soft power assist in transforming capabilities into capacities and resources into instruments of foreign policy. The attractiveness of India's model has advantages at various levels, and particularly not just in terms of Indian philosophy or Bollywood, but also in terms of the technical assistance that she is able to provide. And this is clearly enmeshed in a larger set of foreign policy goals, ensuring secure sources of energy for an expanded economy and opening markets for India's increased export-oriented industrial and service sectors, and of course, also looking into geostrategic ties with key neighbors. Now, with the increasing recognition of trade and connectivity as the impetus driving relations among states, there has been in recent times an increasing focus on connectivity as the determining focus of South and Central Asian relations. Reflective of this was the fact that it was the lack of connectivity and measures